What was it like presenting the news on national TV for the first time?
Well, I've started the journey. You can change your life if you have a purpose and you work towards that purpose. I always knew that when I reach that 50, 60, 70 years old of age, that I want to look back and say, hey, I lived a good life. If you want to grow, if you want to be someone who's very strong, you have to fail, and failure builds success.
As an anchor, as a host, as an MC, do you feel these jobs are respected and appreciated? Ahmed Al Busaidi is an anchor on Oman National TV, a host on Oman Radio, and is an MC on many big events around the country. In this episode, we discuss about his journey into becoming the news presenter on Oman National TV. We spoke about the recipe for success and the difference between being famous and having influence. Alright, before we kick off with today's episode, if you can subscribe, like, and comment on this channel, I'll truly appreciate it, and it'll help me bring you more and more high performers to this show. This is the High Performance Mindset, and today's guest is Ahmed Al Busaidi. Enjoy this episode. Sheikh Ahmed, welcome to the show.
I'm happy to be here.
So, you're a presenter on Oman National TV. You're the anchor, news presenter. What was it like presenting the news on national TV for the first time?
Well, I've started the journey this year when it comes to TV. I was actually doing it on radio before. So I was a radio news anchor and presenter as well. So I had the experience of a year and a half before going on TV. And why did I do that? Is to make sure that I'm ready for the special moment of being on TV. And that's how it went. How did it feel? It was very different.
So you knew you wanted to make that transition?
Yes, 100%. And I was doing the prep for a year and a half before going on TV.
How long ago you had that in mind? Like that goal to present the news on TV?
Well, it goes back to childhood. Shall I tell you the full story?
Please.
Let's go. So mom used to tell me when I was a kid that I used to blow a lot of hot wind. What does that mean? I used to like the sound of my own voice as a kid.
What do you mean by that?
I used to talk a lot as a kid. So I used to blather a lot as a kid, and I used to, sing around everyone and make everyone happy and, build that kind of thing. And it started over there. Mom telling me that you love the sound of your own voice. Everything looks different for you. You always think you have to be the bee's knees, center of attraction, that kind of thing. Started there, went into college. There was a lot of high school, college. I was all years of school. I used to be in كنا نسميها الإذاعة المدرسية, so the school announcement team.
Okay.
So I would do that all over the school years. Moved into college.
Started
really back, and I knew that I wanted to be on TV. And I've actually told a few friends that I'll make it to TV. And that was when I was still a kid. We used to play together afternoon time after school. Went on into college. I went into the media group. That was one of my interests in the extra activities that go on in the college, and moved from there into radio, and from radio onto TV.
All right, let's reverse back. Let's go back. I want to go back into your childhood.
Let's go.
So I'm guessing you're a mixed race Omani.
Yes.
So your dad is Omani.
Mom is from Scotland.
Yeah, okay. I figured that. I thought Scottish. Okay. And you went to a private or public school?
Public school, my whole life.
Public school. Okay. Now, for those who don't know,
it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, just 44 students in one class.
Even more sometimes.
Yeah, I went to private and public, so I know equal, I think, number of years actually. So yeah, I know what it's like being in all boys school. Amazing.
Exactly. It's a different thing. It's a different experience. And then when you go into college, there was a story that I would like to share as we progress in the conversation.
How was your experience being in a public school?
Well, honestly, I was someone who was outgoing, ambitious, but at the same time, I was shy. That is something that people don't know about me. And especially when did this become really clear to me that I was someone shy and someone who is not used to doing a lot of things, not accustomed of going out of their way. is when I entered college after school. Because when it's in a community of boys, it's very easy for you to surround yourself with the people who are like-minded like you. We're all the same. We think in the same things. We'll play football in the afternoon, run around in the place where we live. So it's a very simple mix. But then when you go on to college and the other gender comes in, so you'd have male and female studying in a mixed college. I went to a mixed college. So that showed me that I had a bit of shyness, timidness. I would actually sweat when I have to talk to the other gender. That's how it started out in college. And I didn't have the public communication skills as strong as I have them now. And that took years, of course, of practice. But that's the moment when I understood that there was things missing in my life when I was in school, because in school you're around all boys and it's very easy to handle everything, almost everything. And then moving through to college, that's when you realize that you're missing some skills.
How did you go about tackling that?
How did I go about tackling it is I'm a very practical person. I consider myself a very practical person. First thing when I entered into the college and I said, this wouldn't work. This wouldn't work long term. I'm going to a job later on. I'm going to hunt a career. So this wouldn't work. I have to find something to do. First thing I've done is I involved myself in extracurriculum activities that you'll do after your college studies. And that broadened my horizon. It taught me a lot of skills, including communication skills.
What kind of extracurriculum?
I was mostly doing what I love, which is media. And then there was a few other ones at the sidelines, stuff to do, for example, with religious awareness, self-development, so all the different packages that come around that. But the main one was media. My focus was always on
You
media.
actually studied IT, right?
Yes.
But extracurriculum in media.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had a subject, a module.
Well, extra stuff that I would do, there was a few subjects in college related to media, but before that, I always knew, since I was a kid, if I take you back again into the conversation,
let's go back to
that I was wanting to be someone who is going on TV.
Okay, wait.
Why did I choose media? Why did I choose IT? Before people, the awareness level, the social media was not as it is today. Like I'm talking back in the early 90s and 2000s, even early 2000s. There was not a lot of, information and a lot of places where you can go, like what kids have today and now, for example, or even teenagers just graduating from high school to choose their proper path and specialization in life. It's more available now, it's more accessible now, and even parents are more aware about it, which is a very good thing.
True.
To help their kids select the future journey. And remember, it's all about them, it's not about you. So back in school, graduated from school, as a typical Omani, your dad will come in and say, hey, this is not good for you, this is good for you.
But wait, even growing up, I would assume that maybe because you're mixed, maybe you had more interaction, with the females, with the girls. I mean, so what were your summer holidays like? Do you...
Well, the thing is, here it is. A lot of people will assume that. My household, I come from a religious household. So a religious household, there's a lot of good things, there's a lot of positive things, but then you also have the separation between genders. It was very strong in my family, and I'm not just talking about inside my household, also cousins and relatives.
Are you speaking now your dad's side?
Yes,
okay.
From my dad's side, and I've been born and raised here in Oman, and I've traveled to the UK a few times. How often did you
go and see your mother's side?
Not a lot. It's a few times that I've went to the UK, so everything happened here in
Culturally,
Oman.
what did you notice different? Because, we all have our pros and cons, but of course there's a lot of beautiful sides of, I think of being a mix.
Exactly. Well, you'll see, like within my household, that some people will get attracted to the Western culture, while some others would get attracted to the Eastern culture. For me, it was always the spirituality, that the Eastern culture, the thought, the self-development, the mindset that the Eastern culture is very strong. And when I say Eastern culture, I don't just mean Oman. I'm talking about Oman, I'm talking about even East Asia, the meditation practices, the prayer practices, all that put together. I would see that it's very strong in this side of the world. So I'll always find myself gravitating towards that direction. That's why I felt that I'm more safe when I focus on my Omani side. And I felt that is giving me more, things to do that I am interested in as a person.
You feel from your mom's side culture, you're more foreign to it.
Exactly. And, it may sound weird to some people, but for example, coming up in a place where you always hear the adhan 5 times a day, no matter what, you pray or you don't, that is something else. But hearing it 5 times a day is very different. Like for example, if you travel for a month, 2 months, 3 months into some Western country, and again, that is their lifestyle, and you live in a place that you can't hear any adhan, you can't hear the call to prayers, that is a bit of a difficult thing for me. Like, even if you don't practice, at least the spirituality is around you. You're surrounded with people who are spiritual, people who practice the religion. And again, I'm happy with everything, I can say that, but at the same time, for me, that's what gravitates me, or what I'm pulled into, which is the spiritual
Was that
path.
always the case, or was it like at some stage in life where, that
Of course.
you shift the gears?
I'll tell you something. Faith is something that would shake over time because it's related to you. It's a personal thing. So it would shake over time. It can't be 100% all the time. Whoever tells you that my faith is 100% over the time, that is like self-toxic positive talk. So you're being very positive, which I consider very, very toxic.
Unrealistic. Yeah.
Unrealistic, exactly. And that's how it went. So based on that, I felt myself gravitated to those ideas, to this culture, and I built myself on that foundation.
And growing up, did you have any, whether real or fictional, personality that you looked up to?
Honestly, I look up to 2 people, and it depends on what age category you want. Are you addressing when I was a child, or are you addressing when I'm an adult, like early
Both.
teenhood kind? When I was a child, I would look up to Captain America, Superman, a lot, those kind of fictional characters. I had a few
What do you
t-shirts
feel
of
spoke
Superman.
to you from those characters?
Well, the strength, that someone can fly, someone can do something different. So, that gravitates and that pulls me in. It takes me in, that kind of idea, because I did want to be someone special when I'm big. And as you know, when you used to talk as a kid a lot, that means there's something that you want to do when you're big. You want to be important. You want to feel that you can add value to the world. And that is it, the sense of value. If you can add something to the world, that means you're a special person. It doesn't have to be big, as long as it's something that makes you satisfied with your life. And when you look back, let's say when you hit the age of 50 or 60 and look back, you say, hey, I lived a good life.
When did that happen, that you felt, or who was it that inspired you to want to make an impact?
One of the people who really there's something called breakthroughs, and I've mentioned it to you as we were prepping for this episode. Breakthroughs happen over time. There's something in time in 2010 happened, and this man is someone who passed away, but we cannot forget him, and he's a local. He's maybe not known to a lot of people outside Oman, but here in Oman he's well known, Sheikh Khalfan Al-Aysari.
Absolutely. Allah yarham.
Yes, may he rest in peace. He came in 2010, and see, things happen for a reason in your life. A lot of people are busy living in the outside life. Like, what do I mean by the outside life? The external, the material part of life. Let's say you attend a course, and I'll get back into the story of Sheikh Khalfan and how things went through. So they're busy living the external life. Like, for example, they would attend a workshop. And in this workshop, they'll focus on, the AC, the temperature is not good. I'm not comfortable where I'm sitting. I don't know, something is wrong, this and this is wrong. They'll focus on all the negative things. They wouldn't focus on the actual things that they have to listen to. So May 2010, I just finished the foundation level. So in the college, I had to do foundation because there was math inside this. They brought me back. No one told me about it. So you know how sometimes things happen. So I had to do 1 semester of foundation, and then I went into this specialization, which was IT, information technology. Before going into the specialization, just finished the foundation level, this course hit. And I remember the name of it. It was the life cycle of a student in college. In Arabic, it's called Dawrat Hayat al-Talib fil Kulliyah. Sheikh Khalfan Al-Aysari was the spokesperson who's doing all the speaking and the lecturer.
Amazing.
And one of his sons, who I give a huge shout out to, Ahmed, was there helping him with everything. Okay. And that's when I told you that I'm into stuff that are self-development, religious. And that was the period when the book The Secret of Rhonda Byron was big and things like that. So Sheikh Khalfan Al-Aysari used to cope things or take things from what is written there, but he didn't, that's the nice thing. He didn't just take them, copy and paste them. Cultures are different, everything looks different. So I remember being someone like any other guy. Let's be honest, like in college, what would you think about? Cars, the other gender.
Yes.
And, flirting with the other. Let's be honest, that's the level you'll be at. And your studies.
Just want to have fun and...
Yes, just want to have fun, just want to be cool.
Hang out with the boys.
In that moment, I understood that you can change your life if you have a purpose and you work towards that purpose. Now, back again to childhood, I always remember that I wanted to be someone who can talk, who can inform people, who can, give good, positive energy to people.
Where did that come from as a child? Like, what do you think?
There's people who are caregivers or givers in general. They want to add value to the society. Ever since I was young, I always wanted to be someone who is beneficial to the people around me. And to do so, Did
someone inspire you as a kid?
To do that, I can't, for example, if we go back to childhood, I wouldn't say that there was a proper character. But then when you come into adult teenhood, that kind of stage, I'm talking 13 years old till, let's say, around 18.
Because
I noticed where you become aware.
Because I noticed with the way you approach your craft, right? There's a proper foundation of how much you respect work ethic.
Well, I've been always told by my colleagues that the work ethic of Ahmed is very high, and I've been put as a role model example. Honestly, it's just one of the great things that brought me into that was the 2010 course, that you have a purpose. That message that you have a purpose has always resonated with me. So let's say 2010 and beyond. So I'm talking around 19, 20 years of age. That is different. Why should I be someone like the rest when I can do more? When I can add more value to myself,
you always
to the
had
society.
A calling.
That calling, the purpose, and then
I wonder if
sitting with the right people has added value.
Every person has that or not. I know some people feel it very strongly that they have a calling where they feel they've been created to make a big impact. Some people see it clearly as that.
Yes.
And if they don't live that purpose or pursue that calling and nurture it, then they almost can go through depression because they're not aligned with themselves or with what they believe. So I'm just thinking out loud with you. I don't know if every single person feels that.
I'll say something. It's okay to live however you want to live. It's your means of life. It's your life in the end of the day. For me, I always knew, I can tell you about myself, I always knew that when I reach that 50, 60, 70 years old of age, or how much I have on this earth, that I want to look back and say, hey, I lived a good life. I lived to the top of my means. I've done everything I wanted to do. I got into everything I wanted to do. Now, you talked about depression, and you talked about, this is a very important part. A lot of people think that they are depressed, but have they been medically evaluated? It's not depression. It's a part of failure. You have to fail in your life. If you want to grow, if you want to be someone who's very strong, you have to fail. And failure builds success if you fuel it in the right way, with the positive mindset. So failure, sadness, the part where you feel that you're depressed, sometimes you're not just depressed. You need someone to motivate you from a circle around you to get out of what you're in. Depression is something serious. A lot of people are easy throwing this terminology. They would say, hey, I'm depressed. I don't feel like doing anything, man, and things like that. Depression is a very strong word. It has to be medically, for me, evaluated. You can't just say, hey, I'm depressed, and that's it. Right. You have to be very, very serious about it.
Thank you so much for saying this.
That's how some people
put it. I like what Jeff Bezos said, that anxiety comes from us not doing what we know we're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. 100%.
And I think a lot of depression comes from that.
Yeah, if you call it depression, or even like a feeling that you're living a life that is unfulfilled. You're not fulfilling your purpose, your higher purpose that you're brought here on earth to do. Of course, worshipping God, if you're a Muslim, is one of your highest priorities.
Yes.
But I'm talking about this life. So in this life, you have to have a purpose. You have to be good at something. And there's no human being that is not good at something. You just have to find your craft.
Okay, let's go back to 2010.
Yes.
So you attend this workshop. What happened?
I've attended this workshop, and I see this is the difference between impact, influence, and between becoming famous. There's a lot of clowns on social media. Sorry to say that, but there's a lot of
100%.
clowns on social media. But there's a few people who create impact. Now, if I can remember things that happened in 2010, 14 years ago,
That's
that
impact.
is impact influence. Sheikh Khalfan al-Aishri put in things that it's burned in your mind. This is something that is a
It's
breakthrough.
engraved, yeah.
When we talk engraved. So that is something that is inside your mind that can't change. That you are here, number one, that you are here for a purpose. I remember the teachings, the exact teachings. The course was in Arabic, so some of the words like that he taught us, niml and nahl, for example, what are you? Are you a nimla or a nahla? So as that, are you an ant or are you a bee? So a bee is always buzzing with work, with life. And the three terms like nahl is nashat, and akhlaq hamida, and lean, which is lean is being soft with people. So nahl starts with nashat, that is activity. You're very active, you're very engaged. Akhlaq hamida, you have morals, you have ethics, you deal with that. And lean fit ta'amul ma'anna, so that means you have the patience when you deal with people and you want the best for people. You want always people to grow and be enriched in that. So are you a bee or are you an ant? So the ant side comes as naqd, lawm, and muqarana. So what is that? That is criticism. You're always like criticizing something, blaming someone if you're niml. So niml, that is the word niml, naqd, and muqarana, and lawm. That is the three terminologies. Naqd, criticism. Muqarana is comparison, always, which is it's a sickness that we see on social media today. And then lawm is always blaming others for your mistakes or blaming others for your problems.
Not taking accountability
And responsibility. That was one of the teachings. There was many other teachings that I can remember by letter, and that has made a lot of impact in my life and has made me the person that I am today.
So that was when the decision of making an impact came.
That was one of my first breakthroughs, I consider, because remember, a breakthrough is something that when you step into, you would never go back again. That is a breakthrough in short terms.
And if I would ask you, Ahmed, what is the impact you want to leave behind you?
For me, it's always about the community, helping others. Helping others in a way that they become what they want to be. So the empowerment of others. If you come into any gathering that I go to, for example, they always know that Ahmed is the energized one, the one that adds value to us, the one that shares information, the one that gives without any ends. And to do that, that was also a journey. To do that, you have to educate yourself always and grow yourself. And I've been doing that ever since 2010 and even beyond, since you become someone who is, let's say, depending on yourself. So you have the finances, you have the expertise, you've done all the hard work for yourself. You start sharing that knowledge, disseminating that to the society in a way that benefits them. So you'd find yourself focused on the way how you deliver. And that is through a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. So I've traveled a lot, I've experienced a lot of courses and things to make sure that when I deliver the information is correct. And throughout that, I understood my personality. I understood how I can deliver, how I can make impact, how I can deliver proper information that stays for a long time. And remember, once again, it's always about the impact, not about the becoming famous. So for me, media was not about becoming famous at all. If it was, you would have saw me focusing on growing my socials and things like that. That will come, and it will come. A lot of people think that wealth is built through money itself. Wealth is a mindset. You're building the mindset. The money is something that comes from the side. It's not the actual fact or cause. You're solving a people's problem, something huge for people. Hello, Microsoft, any other big example. You're solving a big problem for people, and you make the money at the side. That's how you create impact. So for me, it's always about putting the right impact into the society. So anybody, for example, that I would work with, they would understand that I'm there to help them. I'm like the bigger brother that is always there to help, that is always there to support. But there's one condition, that you really want to grow. Because a lot of people, when, this should change, the government should do this right, I don't know, whatever should happen. But if you really go deep inside, they don't want to change. They want to be on the same level. They want to be constant. They have that constant mindset of staying at the same level. And that is impossible if you want to live a good life. You have to be someone like a heartbeat who grows. You'd go up, you'd go down, you'd have your failures, your success, and you would move forward.
Which you mentioned to me, like, so you tell me, what is the recipe for success?
Very important recipe for success. And I do want to answer your favorite question, high performance mindset. We'll get into that later. There's a recipe for success. 3 things. And I guarantee if you do it heart-wholly, properly, and you give it your all, you'll become a successful person in your field. Which is, you have to be coachable, teachable, and working hard enough. These 3 things put together. And there's a very big difference between being coachable and teachable. A lot of people don't understand the difference. So teachable is a very easy thing. Teachable is acquiring the skills. You can get it through books, YouTube, podcast, Netflix, whatever you're in. So you can get the skills, acquire the skills. Now the difference is coachable.
This comes into your personal characteristics.
That's one. Coachable, you have to be someone who is willing to listen to people who have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for example, a lot of the younger generations say that I want to become a news anchor. They really don't know the hard work that comes behind that.
Which I want to get into that.
Okay, so that's it. Or I want to be on radio, I want to be on TV. There's a lot of skills that you have to acquire before you go on radio and TV. So that is it. Teachable, coachable, and working hard enough. Teachable is the easy one, as we said. Coachable is the one that requires a lot. You have to be willing to listen to criticism. And here is a message for the Gen Zers, a very important message for the younger generation in general, in everyone in his life. If you want to succeed, you have to be willing to listen to criticism. And I can teach you a very simple method to understand true criticism that is positive, that comes from someone's heart who wants you to develop, and someone who doesn't want you to develop. It's very easy to figure out. Come quiet for, let's say, 2 hours in a seating where you're being criticized. Like, let's say you're in a gathering and everyone is talking. Just become silent. And I've learned this skill from Jordan Peterson, the famous author. Be silent in that room. Let everyone else talk. And if you see someone who is just throwing blame at you all the time, that is negative criticism. Get that person out of your life. Don't listen to what he has to say. On the other hand, if you see someone always, putting that balance, like he would be very nice with you, genuinely nice, like, hey, let's go out for lunch, let's have chai karak together, let's do whatever we want to do together. And then, brother, I think you should, for example, work on your emotions a bit, like control your emotions in the office. You want to, if it's on the career path, if it's a friend who you always go out with, like, you should do 1, 2, 3 like this, and then also include humor in it. Make it fun, make it that. And people, this is a well-known teacher, the Prophet.
And never do it in public.
Yes, exactly. The Prophet used to say, in the Holy Quran it's mentioned, وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. What does that mean? When you give a message, it should be calm. It should be, yes, as you said, in private. You try to take someone outside for a dinner, for a lunch. Brother, for example, you're doing amazing in your life. You're doing 1, 2, 3, this is right. But here is something that I think is a shortcoming of yours. Try to push yourself forward in this field. Try to get better in this. And I guarantee it would help you. And you will see if someone is genuine, they will go out of their way to help you, if they find that you're willing to accept. If you open your heart. So that is how to be coachable. That is how to add value into your life. Being coachable, it's a very different thing. I can tell you on a personal note that it took me around 10 years to become coachable. It was not easy. Around 10 years to become really, really coachable. And then after that, working hard enough. You have to put in the effort, the work to make sure that you achieve your goals.
And how did that journey go like?
The journey of around 10 years, it was full of ups and downs. It was full of traveling, attending courses, learning, and willing to listen to people. And sometimes, here is a saying that I've learned from someone who, imagine, and I didn't share this story publicly before, so it's exclusive to you, is in my life, I've only went with a lawsuit just once. But, and here is being coachable, so I'm not just preaching it, I'm actually doing it. I've learned a lesson from this guy. He has taught me a lot of things, but one lesson was very strong. This guy, I've actually took him to a court because he has offended me, he has done wrong to me. And that is over. but I remember the lesson. If something, he told me it in Arabic, but I can translate it in English. إذا الشيء ما في إدراكك ما يعني إنه ما موجود. So for example, if something is not in your awareness level, it doesn't mean that it does not exist in reality. So if you listen to a piece of advice from someone gives you a piece of advice, sometimes you don't understand that exact thing at that moment, but just churn it, think about it a little bit more, and see how it resonates with you. And that's how you understand that you can build.
Stay open.
So if
I
was someone not coachable, I wouldn't listen to his advice. I'll just focus on the hatred that I have towards him and things like that. But that has helped me grow a lot. That piece of advice has helped me grow a lot and build a career that is fulfilling to me.
Like how does
that I want
that
to grow.
apply in the real life? Like, give me
For
a
example,
scenario. Yeah.
I can give you a scenario. Like, some people would consider that we are not aware enough as a society, and we don't have the awareness level to distinguish right and wrong, for example, that we're very, let's say, emotional as a society. Part of that may be correct, but there's another part is that if you focus, there is people who are leading the society, even silently, into the right path. So for example, you have incidents that happen inside the society. You are not aware of it. You are in the mass of people who are just influenced by the incident, who are emotional about the incident, whatever case it is, big one, small one, any kind of case. So you are inside the mass, but there are people who are above that mass. So always try to become of this category, who analyzes stuff, who understands how things work, how power works, how media works, how everything else works, into putting a direction. Be of that category. Try to always uplift and raise your awareness. I'm telling you, it's not age limited. You can find someone who is 25 years old who has a really high awareness, and he is into that second level, when you can also find people who are at 45 or 50 who act like children.
Sure.
That's how it is. That's how it is. So this is a live example of how you want your awareness level to be. So once again, to the saying, يعني إذا الشيء مش في إدراكك ما يعني إنه ما موجود. It's available. You just can't see it because your level of awareness is low. It's here. It's not here. While you should be here.
All right. So you're an anchor on national TV, on Oman TV. You're a radio host on Oman Radio. And you also MC all around Oman, right? These are all, you could say, under the umbrella of communication, but they're all different disciplines in their own respect. So now I want to take one by one. So let's say for being an anchor, what are the things that you do behind the scenes to stay on top of your game?
As a news anchor?
Yes.
Okay, because there's two things even. There's a news anchor and then there's a presenter. So I also do a morning show called Jumpstart on the national radio. So that is a part of my job. Okay. So I do a morning show and then I also news anchor. And there are two different energies. A morning show is light-hearted, you're with people, you're communicating with people. News is more of authoritative, and news in its delivery in general is, for example, it's a scene, like it's a play. You have to enjoy that play. You have to be in the moment as you're doing the news. And at the same time, I have to say, and this is for people who don't know it, it's a huge responsibility. It's an immense pleasure, but it's a huge responsibility. Really huge one. Because when I go on TV... Sorry?
Do you think everybody looks at it that way?
That is the thing. Not everybody looks at it.
This is what I admire honestly about you, is that you take this craft like on a whole different level, like in terms of professionalism. And I think it's inspiring, and I would love to see more and more Omanis, deciding on what they want to do. And once they decide, I would love that all of them aim to become the best. Not in Oman only, because I think, with all due respect, but Oman is
small market.
It's a small market. It doesn't take much to become the best, and you shouldn't clap yourself. Maybe you should once you're on an international level, but we should stop just getting satisfied with becoming best in Oman. And you see this with different crafts, like with different specialization. Maybe a football player. he's killing it as a football player in his neighborhood on Nadi, whatever, right? And then you're like, okay, come on now, next step,
Next level.
put yourself in another league where it's bigger, and maybe you'll become the weakest link. But that's where the growth is going to happen, and that's where you're going to see what you're made of. But just staying in the same league, I'm the best, captain of Al Hara, and this applies to different fields, whether it's IT, whether it's, presenting.
Well-known saying, some people may consider it a cliche or something like that, but it's reality, which is you should not be the smartest person in the room. If you are the smartest person in the room, then you are inside the wrong room. That's how the self-discipline, self-development thing goes. And that is, I find it really true. You have to, as you said, be at the bottom to grow. There's an opportunity to grow. You can learn from the best of the best. Like, for example, if you and Messi, Lionel Messi, are playing in the same team at Barcelona, you know that Messi is a player that is ahead of you. Learn from him. What does he have? What is his talent? What is his craft? Let me take you back again into the newsroom, into what happens inside the newsroom. There's some people who just come and read the news and go away. But I would said that the news is a scene. It's a play. So, for example, we're talking about something that is very dear to our hearts, for example, in the Arab and Muslim world, which is Palestine and things that are all going in Palestine. There's injustice there. So how would I look if I'm just saying to you, like, delivering the news about Palestine in a very cold manner, like I don't care about what's happening to them over there? How would you feel? The energy, there's no empathy, there's no energy, nothing delivered.
I'll get bothered.
There you go. Same thing. So you have to build that skill of communication. So news is very formal, and it needs a proper style of delivery that is authoritative, that you're telling people that, hey, this is the news. This is what is going on in the world now. So that's the level of how to do it when it comes to news presenting. You have to be very formal. You stay neutral as much as you can, but with some cases that we know that our government, for example, if we're talking about Oman, the foreign ministry in Oman comes out with statements about things, then we have to focus and we have to be aligned as news anchors with what our country is saying. So if our country says this and this, we are a government national TV, so we have to be aligned with the vision of His Majesty and the vision of the country in general.
And when you're presenting the news, as you said, it's very authoritative. And there are these very subtle differences where you lighten it up, whether if you're presenting the sports or something,
there
you know what I mean? And then something
For
tragic.
example, I can give you a proper example, like when you're presenting news about the geopolitics and things that go in the world of politics in general, you're a bit more authoritative. Let's say we have a report about something that's happening here in Oman, about palm trees, about something that is happening in India, for example, an animal that lost its shelter and then found its way. So you have the smile on your face. You're actually being one of the people because you're actually interested in what you're delivering.
But I don't think all anchors present news like that. Some of them, where they're presenting about an animal.
We are on the high performance mindset here.
Let's go.
Podcast. So that's where you focus. You have to be one of high talent. You have to deliver at the top of your capabilities and always strive to improve and always be coachable. From all the three, I would say being coachable is something that I find missing in a lot of people. You would not know everything, and it's okay to say, I don't know. Some people fear, and I think it's a cultural thing here, they fear to say, I don't know.
True.
You should say, I don't know if you don't know. Don't try and think that you know everything in the world and you're the best, you're the bee's knees and you know it all. It doesn't happen. The knowledge is very faster than you. Look, ChatGPT, it's very fast, whatever you want of knowledge. Google search, you can search on Google. The information is just rapidly developing. So you have to try to keep yourself up to date. You have to try to keep yourself as someone who is willing to be coachable, who can listen, learn, and understand.
And as a radio host, like
as a radio host for a morning show, it's very different. There's always the morning energy. So you're getting people to get that cup of coffee and go out to their work. You want them to be productive. So you're wishing them a good morning. You're sharing segments that are lighthearted. Like, for example, Guinness World Records, fun stuff. I have this fun segment on the morning show. It's all about national, international days. So, for example, today is, let's say, 26th, 27th of July. Any day, whatever it is. So the day, they have a few national, international days. Some are serious ones, like stuff to do with countries and that, but some are very fun ones, like National Ice Cream Day, National Strawberry Day, and a bit of information about that fruit. So imagine if someone is listening to that in the morning, they're excited to go to their work, they're enjoying it. And we have actually had incidents where people would say, I can't leave the car until you finish your show. Unfortunately, we finish at 10 in the morning, but at least they would wait till the segment finishes and then they can go out. And some people would sit in for different shows that I do as well.
So how do you get yourself on that upbeat energy?
See, there's a thing. Some people think, in the end of the day, we're human beings. And it's normal that you wouldn't be the best every day. But in the end of the day, you have to understand this. When you're talking into a mic, when you're addressing the whole of the country, so I'm talking formal media, forget about your emotions, disconnect from that, and work on delivering what you have to deliver. Some days people will sense it. Even the people who are very loyal listeners, like the OGs, they will say, Ahmed, is there anything wrong?
Wow.
Because they know that you're delivering genuine energy to them always. And some days you, like, let's say something bothered you, something happened.
But that's like anything,
issue.
like any day at work.
Yeah, exactly. There's challenges, day-to-day challenges. But other than that, you can deliver at the top of your priorities, and you should always give, like, it's based on value. If you have that work ethic, if you value work a lot, what you do, then things will change for you. Your life will change for you. Everything will blossom if you do something, once again, that is purposeful and meaning. Like, it has a lot of meaning, meaningful. Has a lot of
people, I don't know if this is subjective to our societies, which is sort of, you mentioned it to me, the sense of entitlement, right? And basically, I could tell you, Ahmed, if I knew I was going to get paid so and so, you'll see the energy that I'll bring to work. And basically, my thought on that is like, don't expect to get the check under your doormat. Like, you have to put in the work, right, before become, this is my mindset, is become so good they can't deny you. And then the paychecks are going to flood in. But until that day happens, you know what to do. You know to go and put in work. Like, how do you see that in our community?
Sense of entitlement here, unfortunately, is a bit high. Let me be honest with it directly. So people think that they have to be employed by the government. People think that they have to get this right. One of the questions that when I'm sitting with anyone and I see him very negative and always complaining and thinking that he doesn't get enough from the government or enough from his family or enough, very simple question. And it really changes the conversation up for me. And I know that this is a person that I don't want to spend a lot of time with. Cut it off, decision. So what happens is, I would ask him this question: did you travel? And once he says no, I understand that this person is just comparing the country to the country. He's not comparing apple to apple, for example. He's not comparing different things. He's just focusing on what's happening here, inside the country, locally. Traveling broadens your horizons. It's not just about, and you remember when I was talking about some people, when even in traveling, it applies in everything in life. So when you go to a course, when you attend a course, some people focus on the AC is not enough, we don't have papers to write on. Man, you don't have papers to write on. Get out your phone and start typing inside it. Khalas. Don't make a big issue out of it. Same thing when you travel. Some people would travel, and I've seen this, and it makes me laugh, but that is what happens. They would travel to, like, let's say an Asian country. Here in Oman, we have dhabiha. So we say we have a dhabiha and we have rice and whatever. He would travel to an East Asian country and expect the same exact food and the same level and everything like that. See, again, there's nothing wrong with eating the same food that you have, but making it a priority, here's the difference. Like, if there is no dhabiha inside Thailand, so talking about a proper plate, a proper feast of meat and whatever, then he's mad if he doesn't have rice and meat. Bro, you're in a different country. Try to experience their culture, whatever they have. Focus there, and that's it.
And a lot of things...
So back again, let me talk about this. A sense of entitlement is a bit high. Let me look at it both of us, let's look at it from something which is a perspective of an employer. So for example, you are a job seeker, I'm an employer. Why should I employ you? What is your skill? What is your talent? I'm sorry, but your ID doesn't mean anything to me. I want productivity.
What are you bringing
I want
to
work
the table?
ethics. What are you bringing into the table? How would you benefit the company to grow? Sense of entitlement should be high if you deserve what you're getting. If everyone agrees that, hey, this guy is the guy to go to for everything, then you should be proud of yourself. And the checks, as you said, will flow in. The money will come. Everything will come. You can't expect to have a lot of money and a lot of fame and a lot of whatever.
Usually when you're already
you're
so
not giving
good
it your all.
Yeah, well, usually when you're really good in your field, you get headhunted. And you have options, and it's just a matter of choice where you want to, go with.
That's it. And
Yeah.
I can
But
give
when
you
you're
an
at the
example.
bottom,
I can give you an example from my personal life, which is I don't promote myself as an MC. Did you ever see me putting out a post that I'm an MC for races, I'm an MC for
No.
national, international events, whether that is sports field or business events? I've never done that. I'm considering it in the near future. I'm working on it, towards it. I have a few set goals and plans that I'm achieving, and then I'm going to it. But I've never done it. Look at the big races that happen here in Oman.
you've presented. You've
Can't say
emceed.
more. That's it. So see, if you're good at something, everyone will come at you, but you have to put in the skill and the knowledge. And once again, I'll take you back to a point called one of the 3 things that you have to do, coachable. You have to be willing to listen to the people in the field and understand from them, and then sort your vision and where you want to take this.
One of the interviews where you were a guest, you mentioned that at one of the events, someone came up to you and said, anyone can do what you're doing. And I liked your response. It was like,
Yeah,
there
exactly.
you go. The mic is
100%.
with you. Let's go. Hey,
This-
what happened?
So we were inside this event. It was a sporting event. I wouldn't state the name of the event because it's well known here in Oman. These MCs, they just shout in the mic and they don't know what they're doing and that. And he was doing it in front of a group of high-profile people. So he was intending to bring me down in front of high-profile people. I didn't talk. Here's the mic. You do it. You come and MC. See, MCing, what people don't understand is also there we go. You don't do that if you're a rookie, if you're at the beginning of your career. But I'm confident that I've done international and national events. MCing of high level here in Oman. I even MC'd a World Cup of hockey here in Oman. People don't know about that. The World Cup of Hockey Fives came to Oman and I MC'd that. So I've done World Cup, I've done Ironman, I've done a lot of international events, series of international events and national events. So I was sure when I done this that I've already have at least a bit of knowledge and skill to say this. So I can back it up with what I have of talent and skill. And he got struck because the thing is, if you're new in the journey, you're not able to do that because you have to learn from the best. So I've MC'd alongside of people who has been doing it for 30 years in the field.
Yes.
And that's what built the confidence of me to do that. It was a fun story and he got struck like, why would he do this to me? I've done it to prove to you that it's not just an easy thing that anyone can do. A lot of people like communication, public speaking is a fear of a lot of people. But if you train yourself into becoming someone who's good at it, you can. Mark Zuckerberg, you remember how just a few years back, he was like an alien when he goes to address the masses.
Yes.
But then you can see him in college campuses, delivering speeches and that in a very different manner.
Absolutely.
If a man like this, of this caliber, who's already a billionaire and one of the richest people in the world, understands the level or the importance of communication skills, then I think we should consider it as well.
Which brings me to the point of, as an anchor, as a host, as an MC in Oman, do you feel these jobs are respected and appreciated?